The human brain is a pattern recognition machine. When we look at the people around us, our minds actively search for cues of safety, routine, and normalcy. We want to believe the world is exactly as it appears. But for someone operating a double life, that baseline of normalcy is a manufactured illusion. Maintaining it requires a person to perfectly control an infinite number of physical variables every single day without a single slip-up. In 2011, investigators at a London luxury hotel encountered a baffling crime scene. 2 young workers had been brutally murdered inside their staff apartment. A third worker, their roommate, Attila Bon, had seemingly vanished into thin air, leaving no trace of how he escaped the blood-covered room. The reality was far more disturbing. Bon hadn't fled the hotel. He had sliced open the side of the very mattress the police were examining, crawled inside, and spent 2 entire days hiding directly underneath them. Bon's temporary evasion highlights a critical flaw in the mechanics of deception. Building a flawless facade is a mathematical impossibility. Eventually, one uncontrollable physical discrepancy will shatter the illusion entirely. The most effective way to build a facade is to rely on what psychologists call proximity blindness. This is the inherent human tendency to trust the people closest to a victim, assuming that a family member or close friend is above suspicion. Take the 2014 assassination of billionaire real estate mogul Helene Pastor in Monaco. When police searched for the person who ordered the hit, they initially looked right past her devoted son-in-law of 28 years, Wojtek Janowski. Janowski leveraged his status as a charming, respected member of Monaco's ultra-wealthy elite. He used that pristine reputation to completely mask the reality that his businesses were collapsing and he was drowning in secret debt, using his proximity to Pastor to position himself for a massive inheritance. A similar dynamic played out in 1991 at Utah's Kennecott copper mine, when night shift security guard Brian Ruff disappeared from his isolated post. This terrain covers 3 square miles of remote mountainous desert. Moving through it in the freezing dark required a vehicle. Ruff's close friend and coworker, Dale Bradley, immediately provided investigators with a solid alibi. He claimed he couldn't have been involved because his car had gotten stuck in the snow an hour away from the mine. He even had a friend verify that he had to be towed out during the exact time frame of the murder. By leaning on friendship and verifiable cries for help, perpetrators like Janowski and Bradley force investigators to look past the true motive, hiding right in the inner circle. But maintaining a double life introduces an unavoidable problem, the variable of chaos. No matter how meticulously someone plans, they simply cannot control 100% of the physical world. Janowski's elaborate assassination plot unraveled because of an event entirely outside his control. The amateur hitmen he hired left a single DNA-covered bottle of shower gel in their hotel room. The hotel maids happened to miss it during a routine cleaning, preserving the biological evidence that led police straight back to the perpetrators. In 2023, a 23-year-old in South Korea named Jung Yoo-jung spent months obsessively studying true crime cases to plan a flawless murder. Posing as a teenage student, she targeted a private tutor, killed her, and packed the evidence into a suitcase. Her perfect plan fell apart because of simple physics. A random taxi driver dropped her near a remote river, noticing the immense physical strain required to drag her heavy suitcase into the woods. When she emerged 20 minutes later, easily carrying an empty bag, he immediately called the police. A meticulously planned crime rarely collapses because of a master detective. It collapses because of microscopic physical anomalies left behind by basic human error. These details are known as investigative anomalies. They are isolated pieces of physical data that exist completely independent of whatever fabricated story a suspect is telling. In the Brian Ruff case, Dale Bradley's alibi of being stuck in the snow was verified by a witness, and he passed a polygraph. That narrative held up for over a decade, effectively freezing the investigation into his coworker's death. Over 10 years later, a cold case detective re-examined the file, ignoring Bradley's verbal narrative entirely. Instead, he focused on a single microscopic speck of red paint found on the sole of the victim's buried work boot. That speck of paint perfectly matched the interior trunk of Bradley's red Mustang. The objective data proved that while Bradley was stuck in the snow an hour away, he had gotten stuck immediately after driving the victim's body to a remote grave. This is the fatal fracture. It happens the exact moment objective physical data intersects with a fabricated story, causing the entire double life to instantly collapse. Eventually, Young Yu Jung, Wojciech Janowski, Attila Bon, and Dale Bradley were all caught, convicted, and imprisoned for their crimes. Their downfalls were not the result of dramatic, tearful confessions in an interrogation room. They were caught because the physical universe ultimately betrayed their lies. Look at this timeline charting a fabricated life. Maintaining this illusion requires a perfect success rate across thousands of daily variables. Every interaction and location ping must perfectly align. Investigators don't need to disprove the entire narrative. The facade only needs to fail exactly once. The terrifying threats aren't hiding in the shadows. They are standing right in front of you, praying you overlook the single drop of paint that reveals what they really are.